Hello and welcome to BierTier, the German engineer. Today we are back with episode 31 of season 2 of our current Let's Play series, and this is, of course, oxygen not included. Yeah, if you watch my last episode, which I of course highly recommend, you may have noticed that I made a little promise, and that promise is that we are going to space and colonize another planetoid. But unfortunately, yeah, that is not gonna happen. And the reason for it is this little doodad right here. So let's turn the overlay back on and let's take a look at what the problem is. We have our red bolt generators right here, 4 of them to be precise, and they are generating 12 red bolts per cycle. And unfortunately, that is just not going to cut it. So we are going to build the ultimate version, and we are going to do that on Abundino. And here we are on Abundino. Everything is going exactly as it should, no problems at all. But that is going to change. Yes, the dupes are gonna be very busy, and the reason for it is this crashed satellite right here. Because if we take a closer look at the radiation levels, we can see we can get up to, what do we have here? 2,125 rads per cycle. If we take in comparison just space, then we can see that the background radiation in space is 125 rads. Yes, that is almost a 20 times increase, which is of course very good, and that is what we want. To get this here going though, a few things need to happen. First of all, right over here we have our atmosuit docks and our entrance to space. So, first of all, we're going to dig, and we're gonna dig in a straight line all the way over to here. And on the other hand, let's see, 4 high, all this here needs to go. And then when these here are gone, we're gonna go even lower all the way along this line right here. Make it one nice straight even area. Of course, we will need some tiles in here, so let's plop them in here wherever we need them. Yep, that should do it, and the dupe should be able to walk around in here. Perfect. Okay, but that is only half of it. The other half is we need to build up to here from the bottom. And for that, we need to come all the way through there. A little bit too low there, and we're also going to grab us a fire pole and plop it right beside it. Of course, for that, we also need to make a little bit of space. Something like this here should get the job done. And when the dupes are up here, we are going to switch over to insulated tiles. In the insulated tiles, we're going to plop. We're going to leave 2 spaces underneath the wrecked satellite. Therefore, we're going to come all the way over here, and then let's just build it to, I don't know, roughly right there. Exactly how much we need, we'll measure out later, but for right now, that's sufficient. And of course, we're going to tell the dupes 4 high, come all the way over. Because we will need a lot of space right here. Probably going to dig most of this stuff here out and deconstruct all of this here. But the dupes will have a lot to do. It will probably take 2, 3, maybe even 4 cycles to get this here done, but it shouldn't be a problem at all. Alright dupes, let's get started. While the dupes are building and digging on Abundino, the dupes on Ingenium also don't want to be lazy. Yeah, right here we have our autonomous rocket, and we are going to slightly repurpose it, at least temporarily. And for that we need to get rid of the drill cone, and we need to get rid of the cargo bay. And when these here are gone, we are going to replace the drill cone with a normal basic nose cone like this one right here. And then the cargo bay, we are going to replace it with a rover module. Yes, we are going to make this here an autonomous rover rocket. That is definitely going to be interesting. It's also something that I have never tried, but there is always a first time, and we will see what happens. And then down here, yes, of course, our newest aluminum volcano Tamer is not yet done. But let's take a quick look at the temperatures, because on the inside right here we have what, -32, -27. Not good. If you put water in here, it will freeze immediately. Therefore, we need to get these hot gases up here from like 84, 74 degrees to come into here and provide us with a little bit of heat. Easiest way to do that is to deconstruct these 3 tiles right here. That should get the job done. And of course, we're also getting crude oil in, which would be helpful to get a little bit more heat in from this side as well. So this area here should now heat up relatively quickly, I hope. And in cycle 584, yes, the dupes are done. Thankfully, digging horizontally is a hell of a lot easier and faster than digging vertically. So let's keep on going over here. We need a 4 high space, and why you will see here very shortly. I'm just gonna plop it down for right now, and it's perfectly fine. We need to go to stations, and in stations we need to grab us the lead suit dock. Yes, we are using for the first time on this channel lead suits. Yeah, it is about time, I would say. So we're gonna plop this here in. We're gonna have a total of 6 lead suits, even though we only have 5 dupes, or 1 extra is always good to have. And then here on the end, we are going to make a slight modification. we are of course plopping in a liquid lock. That is going to be needed, there's no question about it. Actually, this tile here we won't need. And then right here, just our standard setup. Just as simple as that. And then when that is done, all we have to do is we need to grab into plumbing and we need to grab us our bottle emptier and plop it right here. There we go. The dupes can come by, fill this area right here with crude oil and call it a day. Then we can go to space. Just as simple as that. Of course, our lead suit docks right here will need a little bit of help in the form of power and oxygen, but I'm gonna plop this in while I'm at it as well. But I'm not gonna bore you with it, I'm gonna show you what I did when I'm done. Alright dupes, let's get it done. And right here we have our lead suit docks. Of course, we haven't filled with lead suits, oxygen is being delivered and power is here as well. And the next step is to go to space with this thing here and then dig most of this stuff here out. Yes, that is the next step. But let's take a quick look what I did here. The power is literally just coming from this power line right here. Yes, our potential load is higher than our maximum load, but that is okay because all of these buildings here will never be used all at once. And then for the oxygen side of things, of course, pretty simple. I just hooked it up to our main line. Okay, so next, we need to make sure that we have enough cooling, and currently this polluted water vent here is dormant, and the next activity is in 11 cycles, which is a problem, but not a big one. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this line right here and we just extend it somewhere we can actually all reach it. Yeah, something like this here, and then come all the way into right there. I want to fill up this tank here because we're going to use this steam turbine and this thermo aqua tuner right here as our cooling units. Because currently they really don't have a hell of a lot to do, so we might as well utilize them a little bit more. And that is exactly what we are going to do. So dupes, let's fill up this tank. The system that we are going to build is going to use a hell of a lot of power, so we need to do two things. First of all, our power spine right here, I'm just going to bring it along here, and then let's see, right around here should get the job done. Yes, we can come all the way to right there, and then right here we can extend it all the way here to the top. But we can't go any further because if we dig up here, all this ethanol here, tons and tons of it will spill out, and we definitely don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to plop a ladder here, and when the dupes reach this area right here, we are going to tell them, build us some tiles. Just as simple as that. We're going to build across here, and then we're going to build the first tile, then we're going to dig higher, build the second tile, and then connect it all together. And connection, that is of course done with our heavy butt joint plate, so we are not letting all of our oxygen into space. And then the second thing on the list for power is this area right here. We have our coal generators, but we don't have any more coal, and I really don't want to bring any more over from Ingenium, especially since we have in here 961.3 kilograms per tile. Yeah, isn't that nice? So we should probably use that. That would probably make sense. So we're going to come over here, we're going to tear all of this stuff here out, and when it's gone, I'm going to replace it with hydrogen generators and, of course, an insulated gas pipe. I can bring that over already, as a matter of fact. It's going to be very easy, very simple, just something like this here and something like this here. There we go. Just as easy as that, we can immediately switch over our entire power generation to hydrogen. Yes, that is going to be good. Just the gas bridge is missing, and of course we're going to plop that in here as well. And because this entire area is 2 tiles high, all of this here is reachable by the dupes. Alright dupes, let's get it done. And once again, a hell of a lot of digging later, we are back and only 2 ladders are left, and I'm not entirely sure why those are not being taken away. Come on guys, where you at? Yeah, we are at a number 9 priority. So when these 2 ladders here are gone, we can build this entire setup in one swift go. And Dark Fry just took it away, and here we go. Come on, alright, he's gone, and now we can start building. There are several things we need here. First of all, in radiation, we need a red bolt chamber, and we plop it right there, all the way as far as we can to the left. And then red bolt generators, we can see it. The area that it is actually capturing is here on the bottom, and that's what we want, properly lined up with this white eye right here. All right, so we're gonna plop down 3, then 1 on each side, and you know what, for a good measure, another 1, for a total of 7. That should be more than sufficient. Then we need to go our red bolt reflector. Okay, so let's see, we're gonna come over here with our red bolts, and we're gonna come up, we need 1 space, and then we're gonna turn this thing around and fire into this general direction right here. Then right here, we're gonna take it downwards, then over to the right. Because over here on the right, what we need in rocketry is finally our interplanetary launcher. And we're gonna smack it right there. Yes, this here is the setup that we need. Of course, the ladders that I just tore out would now come in handy. That is, of course, an issue, but not a big one at that. So we're just gonna plop one right here, gonna plop two right there, and now everything should be reachable and the dupes can build it. One more thing, we need to make this here a nice enclosed area so we can cool it later on. But for right now, that looks pretty decent. While everything else is going on, yes, right here we're gonna take care of our power. So let's bring our ladder up as well as our fire pole, and when that is done, we're gonna go into power and we grab our solar panels. We're going to leave from our straight line a 4 high space and 1 space to the ladder. And then we just gonna bring it over to the left as far as we can. And yes, you can see here in the bottom left we have a lot of glass. Where's this glass coming from? Well, obviously it's coming from Ingenium. I've been transferring glass the entire episode. Yep, that is very good, and we can put a lot of those solar panels in. All that's left to do at the end of the day is connect them all up with a heavy watt wire, just like this here, 110 long, my goodness. Unfortunately, we don't even have the resources all in one. I built them out of aluminum ore, but that is okay. We're just gonna switch over, and then this here we can connect up. Meanwhile, all the way on the bottom on Ingenium, let's take a quick look at our temperature. Yes, 1.3, 0.6. Yeah, we are not doing too shabby right here. So this bottle emptier here can finally be turned on. We're going to set it to water number 9, enable auto bottle. And of course, we're also going to put in those tiles here once again. Isn't that nice? That should work. We're going to put a little bit of water right here. Then we're going to close off the top and finish the entire setup. Meanwhile, on the other side of Ingenium, which means, of course, the very, very top, our space area, yes, our autonomous rocket is ready. And do we have a rover? Yes, sure enough, we do have a rover here. So, I would say, let's get started. In the Spacefarer module, we're going to change the crew. We're going to select, of course, our favorite pilot, Chemster, and then we're going to change the destination. With our little rover, we want to end up over here in Ugista. Yes, so what we are going to do is, let's see, yes, this tile right here, when we see where our arrow goes, this tile here is the most optimum, so we are going just into orbit. Just as simple as that, and we are beginning the launch sequence. So, all we have to do now is to wait for Chemster, and we should be ready to go. And there is our main man, he's hopping into the rocket, and we should have liftoff. And if we are lucky, it will not blow up like SpaceX's Starship a few days ago. And right here on the star map, we can see it, our rocket made it to space. So let's pause the game, let's select the duplicate in the Trailblazer module and deploy it back down here, maybe, that should do. And then, we're gonna play the game. Yes, Chemster is gone, and then we can change the destination and bring it all the way over to here. Just as simple as that. And back on Ingenium, of course, Chemster is coming back down. Yes, a very gentle landing, that's how we like it. Chemster is here, and Chemster is perfectly fine, and we can deconstruct it, and we are good. Meanwhile, on Abundino, a hell of a lot is going on. Yes, the dupes are building up here, the cooling loop is already going in, even our solar panels are not all done yet, and I put already in the conveyor loader, which is of course directly connected to our interplanetary launcher. But the dupes are added and they will get it done. But there's a little blunder on my end. Right here, you can see it, I overfilled this thing here to the max. And we are at a complete standstill, which is not good at all. But there's an easy fix. So what we can do is we can just snip this here off, and then we can just take this liquid pipe right here, and we can bring it out to right there. Dupes will come by, dupes will build it, and as soon as it's built, a few drops when just leave this pipe right here, we are perfectly fine once again. But actually even that may not be needed. Hold on 1 second. We can just wait. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. What we're gonna do is we're gonna snip this here off, because as soon as our cooling loop is built, the water is gonna go anyway, and we won't have any more problems. This pipe here will drain itself, slowly but steadily, and when it's done, we're gonna get rid of it. Just as simple as that. Yeah, that is definitely the better solution, since I already put this piping here in, and just a few more pieces here on the top are missing, that is certainly the better solution. And right here we have it, you can see it immediately, the water is flowing again, which means our cooling loop is now active, and even this pipe here is now empty, which means we can tear it out. Might as well give that order right now before I forget it later. Okay, this here is done, our water is flowing all along insulated liquid pipes made out of igneous rock, and then all the way up to here to radiant liquid pipes made out of aluminum. Alright, next on the list is, in plumbing we need a bottle emptier, we're just gonna plop it right there and call it a day. But the big part about this build here is, of course, the automation. So let's do that. First of all, with the automation wire, we have an output right here on our interplanetary launcher, sends a green signal when its red bolt storage is full. That is, of course, not what we want at all. Therefore, we need a NOT gate, and we're going to plop it right there. Now we are getting a red signal whenever our storage is full. So far, so good. Okay, next we're going to plop this all the way to right there. And the reason is that we will build an AND gate. And the AND gate, we're going to turn around into this particular orientation right here, the two inputs on the bottom. When we plop it in, now our right input is connected to our interplanetary launcher. Okay, now we need a red bolt sensor, and the red bolt sensor goes right here in the middle. That is why we left one space. Just as simple as that. Then, it's getting a little bit more complicated because we need a buffer gate, just like this, and then another NOT gate, just like that. And then we are going to take an automation wire and plop it into here, into there, and then all the way into the other input. This output here from our AND gate goes right there, and we can see it. It says, green signal, emit red bolts, red signal, do not emit red bolts. And that is exactly what we want. We want to control how many red bolts are coming out of here. And then, right here, we have one more. This one here says, sends a green signal when its red bolt storage is full, just like our interplanetary launcher. Once again, not what we want. Therefore, we're gonna come just, let's do it like this here. And then all along here. Now that that is done, last but not least, we need another NOT gate just in the other direction. And with this simple setup right here, we can turn our red bolt generators on and off. We can control how many red bolts are coming out of our red bolt chamber. And we can control how many red bolts are going into our interplanetary launcher. But we will see in detail how it works the moment the dupes have it built. While the dupes are still building on Abundino, there is a couple more things we need to do here to finish up. So, first of all, how much water do we have? 56 kilograms. That is more than sufficient, so we can tear out our bottle emptier. Then, what we do need is power, because we can see we don't have any power wires. Oh, we haven't paused the game. So, let's do that. Okay, let's come all along here, all the way to the top and over. There we go. Just as simple as that. But there's still something missing. Yes, we cannot provide any power to our main systems down here, because the heavy watt wire is only the output right now for our steam turbines. That is not going to work. So, what can we do? If we go to power once again, and we can find us the, there we have it, the large power transformer, we can just plop it into here. Isn't that something? That means we can tear these two here out so the dupes can come in, and we can tear this one here out, so later on we can come in here with our wire. Just as simple as that. Isn't that something? And then right here, we're gonna just come down all the way to here. And then let's say, something like this here should get the job done. And of course, we will need a conductive wire bridge for that. All right, let's plop it in, something like this here. And that should get the job done. It's literally this simple. Of course, another piece of ladder right here so we can reach this here from the bottom as well. And that should do it. And that should complete this entire build right here. As soon as we have power, I will close off the system, I will build another steam turbine and create a vacuum. And that should be that for right now. And right here we have it. The dupes have been cleaning up. All that stuff here is gone. I put it on a number 9 priority. Everything else is on a 5. That is why it's still laying around. Okay, let's connect our heavy watt wire in. And then let's see what happens. We have our red bolt generators right here. And we can immediately see it collecting 160 per cycle. Yes, 160 and not 12. Even the weakest one all the way on the outside is at 123, and on the other side we are at 122. That is a lot of red bolts in a very short amount of time. But I will fast forward just a tiny little bit, and we will see what happens when the first red bolt fires off. And here we have it. 2 red bolts are flying. So before we let them hit, because this one here is set to 50 and it currently has 49 in it, which means when the first one here hits, it will immediately fire. But for that, the red bolt sensor. If the red bolt is above 0, we are sending a green signal. The green signal goes into the buffer gate. The buffer gate is set to 5 seconds. That is default. I haven't changed it. We need to fine tune it maybe a little bit, but we will see how it goes. Then the signal gets converted in our NOT gate to a red signal. And that red signal is going to be on right here for a long time due to our buffer gate. So let's watch that in action and let's actually see if it works. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Who knows at this point anymore? So right at the moment we are green. Everything that we see here is green, which is very nice of course, because that means green signal, emit red bolts. So We emitted our rat bolt. We can see it flying right here. We're currently sending a green signal for 5 seconds into our NOT gate, and therefore one of our 2 inputs is red, which gives us a red output signal, which means our rat bolt chamber cannot fire anymore. Okay, we just hit it and we can see it. 5 seconds, maybe slightly overkill. So let's change this here to 4 seconds for the next rat bolt, and we will see what happens when the next one is fired. And there we have it. Then we can see the buffer gate right here sent out a red signal, which got converted to a green signal. And that means, of course, our rat bolt chamber fired again. And right here we have another rat bolt. All right, let's fire it over. There we go. And look at this here. Our interplanetary launcher is now ready. So let's make sure it actually works and put anything in here, really anything at all. So we're gonna allow manual use. What do we have nearby? Reed fiber. That's not optimal necessarily. Let's go for metal ores and let's shoot some, I don't know, anything at all. Any metal ore, whatever you have laying around, dupes, bring it over here with a number 9 priority. And then we will see what happens when we are actually getting this stuff up to our interplanetary launcher. And there we have it. And apparently the dupes decided on, what is it? Gold amalgam. Okay, all right. I'm going to turn everything that is not gold off just to be safe here. Let's turn up the speed just a tiny little bit to get this stuff here out of there. And that should be more than sufficient to send it over. So I'm going to turn it off and we will see what happens. Right at the moment, all of our stuff is of course coming along the conveyor rail, but as soon as it gets into our interplanetary launcher and we are reaching 200 kilograms, this thing here should fire, and it should fire straight for Ugista. Yeah, that's perfect, because we have also our rocket in orbit, so we will take a look at that here as soon as we fire off our first shot here. So, there it goes. My god, that was fast, and that is at normal speed. That thing here is not messing around, and immediately the next rat bolt is getting filled up. Isn't that nice? Of course, once this rat bolt chamber here is full, we have 1,000 rat bolts in it, which is quite a few shots right here. And of course, we are producing a lot of rat bolts at the same time. And let's take a look at our star map. And where can we see it? Okay, right here. There they come. Here we have our 3 interplanetary payloads, and it takes apparently 0.6 cycles to get all the way to Ugista. But speaking of Ugista, let's take our rocket right here and let's deploy our rover module. And where are we gonna put it? Right here. Look at that. Isn't that a perfect landing spot? So the game is already playing, which means we should be able to see it landing. Yes, here it comes. Fortunately, it is currently the dark of night, but that is okay. And here is our little rover. First order of business, deconstruct your own pod. You don't need it anymore. Back to the star map, because our rocket can now also go home. And that is exactly what we are going to do with it. All right, isn't that nice? And yes, here we have it, the ultimate interplanetary launcher setup with a 1000 rat bolt storage. And of course, in theory, you could expand that even more and you could see a few rat bolts went past. Unfortunately, that is really hard to avoid because we can only store 200. So if we are at 199, yeah, 49, or at least roughly 49, calculating in the loss that we are having from traveling through space with our rat bolts, we'll just go past. But other than that, this is literally the most efficient way that I could come up with, at least in a very short amount of time. Of course, if you guys have any other ideas of how to solve my problem right here and how to make it even more efficient, please let me know. You know it. I'm always happy to hear from you, especially when it is about efficiency improvements. And then over here on Ingenium, my goodness, what a stroke of luck. Our aluminum volcano right here went dormant. It must have happened just a minute ago because I didn't notice it right up until now, and earlier it was trying to erupt, which means 2 things. We can dig this tile here up, we can put in our last piece of conveyor rail, and of course, we can also analyze it, so we actually know what's going on with it. At the same time, the vacuum pump has to go, and yeah, everything else that is connected to it in F6, in F7, everything has to go, and then this system here will be completed as well. But that is all I have for you today, so if you enjoy this type of content, please subscribe to my channel, leave a like on this video, and of course comment down below. As I said earlier, I'm always happy to hear from you. And with that I say thank you and peace.